There's not a cloud up in the sky. Meaning, mighty mob. I can't be late for my own show.
Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé. I'm looking through some notes. I've got a few little notes that I'd like to mention this morning. You know, it's amazing to see what's happening in the media. Having been in the media for such a long time myself, you know, like growing up in it, sort of like becoming a weatherman when I was a young guy, and being in it all these years through the various evolutions, I guess you could say, of television. You know, I can remember when I first started, when the newsroom went out, when the news guys went out for a story, they were taking cameras, 16 millimeter cameras, you know, and shooting the footage and running back into the dark room and doing the footage to put it on the 5 o'clock news. So, I mean, it's really kind of an incredible situation, how we've come out of that age all the way to where we are now. All of the variations of film, and then tape, videotape, that was still analog, and then digital tape. And now everything is basically this. It's like a teleporter device, and it's only going to get more, sci-fi oriented as AI becomes more a part of our lives. And that's really what the show is about. Future Shock, you know, it's about some of the things that we're going to be encountering, you know, the wild west, as it were. You know, now the latest news in that whole sector is, you know, we had some Chinese AI development, which kind of disrupted the financial scenario in the United States with the developers of AI. So OpenAI was affected. Everybody was affected by the latest development that came out of China. Well, there's another one that has recently come out. It's Alibaba. If you've heard of Alibaba, Alibaba is, I guess you could kind of call it the Chinese version of Amazon. Maybe that's kind of like how you could explain it. It's on the U.S. Stock Exchange, so you could literally buy stock in Alibaba, but it's big in China. So Alibaba has developed their own AI, and so now we have DeepSeek. That's the first big AI out of China, which made news this week, and now Alibaba comes out with their own AI. It's called Qwen, Qwen, and they say it's more powerful than Alibaba. And so naturally, reverberations everywhere. AI, the OpenAI folks are saying that their information was basically taken over by the Chinese AI developers and used, so copyright infringement or whatever. So it's like a big commotion going on. But whatever, however you want to look at it, the valuation of NVIDIA stocks dropped billions of dollars, and so much has occurred here just this week. Basically, why did it upset the apple cart, so to speak, with the AI valuations? It's because the folks in China have developed AI that will do the same thing as OpenAI for millions of dollars instead of billions of dollars. And so the financial model has been changed. And that's the game changer that's taken place this week. And so, it's an arms race. I mean, it might be not an arms race with arms, but it's an arms race of intelligence. And that's what we're entering right now. And that's why it's so important. You go one way and develop too fast, and it gets loose in the zeitgeist and possibly ends humanity as we know it, or put guardrails on it, which keeps our development at a slower pace, and the Chinese take off in a faster modality, and then they get to general intelligence before us, and then basically they use that they weaponize that against us, so that we're behind the eight ball in the Western world, behind the Chinese superiority of AI. So there's a lot going on there. We talk a little bit from time to time about the changes in the media place. Like I just mentioned, when I started, they were filming, and now everything is a digital packet, right? And it continues. The big giant companies out there, like Comcast, they own networks, they own cable divisions. They're the biggest broadband supplier in the country. Let's see what happened yesterday. They hit a new low. Their stock is plummeting right now, and it's because Comcast is the number one U.S. ISP supplier with 31.8 million subscribers, and I think they reported yesterday that they had lost another 117,000 broadband subscriptions just in the last quarter. So no, that was Charter. Comcast lost more than they lost 139,000 just in a 3-month period. So you can see that the models that were evident in the past are crumbling, and so is the credibility of legacy media. I mean, after everybody has been through this cycle of news that we've come through with the election and everything else, when you look back, you think, how much of this was really misinformation, and how much of it was intentional or non-intentional? Well, I guess we will never know, but I think a lot of us have a feeling that there was partisan politics being played at the highest level in the national media to subvert the consciousness of the populace. So many things we find out that were said were not true, and I think it's a wake-up call for everybody. And it is the sad truth. That's the world we're living in. However, it's good because at least the truth is now out there. I mean, and I think that's why we've got a rise in social media, like X, for example. If you want news, you wouldn't go to Facebook. You would go to Facebook to see, relatives and family and friends and all, sure. But, if you go to X, you're going to get news, and it's going to be unfiltered. You're going to see things there that you might not want to see, or you might not expect to see, or you might never have seen, but you're going to see a lot of different things from all over the world. And so that is really where the press has gone today. I think, it's gone to free flow of information, not guardrailed and perpetrated by people who have an agenda, whoever they might be, or whatever their agenda might be, but just open, and you can look at it and kind of define what is truth and what is not truth. It's an interesting time that we're living in, but thank goodness we got X. And I tell you, one more kudos out to Mr. Elon Musk for being able to envision what it could become, because it surely wasn't that way when Twitter was owned by the prior people. It was more of in fact, it was part of the problem. They were not honest out there. Their algorithms were based and built to withhold certain bits of news from the people, and let other things go through that maybe were not true. So, I mean, that ended when Musk got a hold of it. So, I was talking to a friend this morning working out, and we both kind of agreed that this last cycle of election, from where it was going to where it is at now, it was a pivotal moment in American history, maybe in the history of the Western world, really. I mean, if you want to stop and think about it, because we were heading in a different direction, and now suddenly, it's like the brakes have been put, and common sense, whatever it might be, on any topic, common sense will come back to play, not playing out everything based on a political agenda. It should be just transparent and truthful and based on merit. Let's move forward. And that's why I like having an entrepreneurial president in the White House, because now we can get things done. Let's move forward. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're on your own and you have to make payroll and you have to figure out how to make a company work, you got to be on. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a small company or a big company. I can imagine it's so much more involved for big companies. But whatever it is, if you're responsible for your company and you're responsible to make payroll, you're not going to go at it based on anything other than what is going to work. How are we going to be able to grow, make payroll, expand, do a little bit of research and development so we'll be a little bit ahead of the curve for new things coming out. How do we survive in the business world and not become a statistic, dead in the water, eradicated from business forever? Well, how do you do it? I mean, you can't do it based on anything else than what's going to succeed, and that's what we're going to go with. And that's what an entrepreneur will think. That's how he's got to think if he's going to survive. If he survived for any amount of time, it's not about taking any other path than that. It's about taking the path of, let's do this so that we can continue to fight another day. Otherwise, if the lights don't come on, we're out of business, right? And so that's what we don't want. Okay, well, let's now go to this first clip. We were talking about the Chinese, right? We were talking about the Chinese movement into AI and how it's disrupted the financial model that we have today. Meta, everybody, OpenAI, Microsoft, everybody is impacted by what DeepSeek did. And now we've got Alibaba coming out with Qwen. So we've got a story. This is from another news source in India. Pretty unbiased look at what's happening in the US right now based on the disruption coming in from China. So let's take a look.
The world is still talking about DeepSeek, the Chinese AI company that shook up Silicon Valley. It took on American tech giants. Its AI models are cost efficient and powerful. They are built on less advanced chips, yet they perform just as well as their Western counterparts and rivals. The result? A massive market shock. Tech stocks plunged. $1 trillion wiped out in a single day, and things were just stabilizing when China fired again. A second Chinese tech giant has thrown its hat in the ring. I'm talking about Alibaba. Its latest AI model, Qwen 2.5 Max, is here. And according to Alibaba, it is not just good, it is better. Better than OpenAI's GPT-4o, better than Meta's Llama, and even better than DeepSeek's V3. So Alibaba claims it is better than its Chinese and American counterparts. These claims are yet to be verified, but the timing is deliberate. It's the Lunar New Year in China. It's a national holiday, a time for family. Most people are not working, but Alibaba is. This wasn't just a product launch. It was a power play. Right now, China's AI momentum is relentless. DeepSeek shocked the world last month, and last week it dropped another model. Then came Moonshot AI. It's a Chinese startup. Its new release is called Kimi K1.5. Moonshot claims it is on par with OpenAI's best. And now we have Alibaba. Make no mistake, this is not tech boom, this is an offensive. Not the usual military drills kind that Beijing likes. This is a tech offensive. China has the West on the back foot, and now it is going for the kill. What's the West doing about it? Well, they are playing the TikTok card. If you can't defeat them, discredit them. If that doesn't work, raise national security concerns, and if even that fails, then just go ahead and ban them. The first example is OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT. 2 days ago, their CEO praised the DeepSeek model. But now the company has a problem. It says DeepSeek used OpenAI's models to train its apps. Microsoft is investigating this charge. It is a major investor in OpenAI, so Microsoft wants to find out if any OpenAI data was used. Now, we don't know how much of this is true or if this is just a case of sour grapes. But the White House has echoed these concerns. They're looking into DeepSeek and the national security concerns related to Chinese AI models.
President Trump has also proudly appointed the first AI and crypto czar at this White House, David Sachs, whom I spoke with yesterday, very knowledgeable on this subject, and his team is here working every single day to ensure American AI dominance. As for the national security implications, I spoke with NSC this morning. They are looking into what those may be, and when I have an update, I will share it with you.
The U.S. is not alone. Italy is...
Okay, so you can see that that there's a lot of commotion going on right now with the international players getting involved with the development of AI, and it's only going to get more intense. It's really an arms race. You know, that's what we're entering right now, an intelligence arms race. And where will it go? Well, you know, hopefully it will all be good. I mean, I was thinking about something the other day. I mean, you know, with everything that's encrypted, that's so important to remain encrypted, whether it be the world of finance or whether it be the ability to use weaponry via hacking in to systems and such. AI is going to exponentially blow all that up, because it's going to mean that there will be capabilities that the supervillains will have, wherever they might be. The supervillains will be able to attain the ability to do some things that they couldn't do before. When everybody across the planet has an AI agent, and not just everybody, but every rogue nation out there too. So it's kind of it's really, man, I tell you, what an interesting time to be alive right now. It really is. And we're going to be on a pretty fast roller coaster coming up pretty quickly. And so anyway, that was interesting. It's interesting to see the international press. When the international press, and I've always noticed that, you know, the few times that I've been anywhere out of the country, you know, I remember when I went to Mexico one time many years ago, and I was in Mexico, and I was a TV weatherman in Shreveport, Louisiana, at KSLA, and so I went to Mexico on a vacation with my wife and the sports guy and his wife, who I worked with at the station, and so we were there, and I was listening to the news or whatever it was, and I remember that it was such a completely different slant on everything, even there in Mexico, wherever we were. I think we were in the Stapa, which is on the west coast of Mexico. It's kind of a place that kind of a new type of resort at the time that was becoming popular. I guess like Cancun eventually became very popular. Estapa with an X. Anyway, but the tone of the press and the content was so different from everything that we were hearing in the United States. They just took a completely different slant on the news. And of course, you would imagine that would be the case, you know, because it's coming from it's a different country, right? And so it wasn't what we were being told every day here. It was a completely different line. And it's like that everywhere you go. If you leave the country, you're going to get a different slant on things just about everywhere you go. So looking at that Indian news clip, you can see they weren't they were pretty unbiased, I thought, but they were not automatically on the side of OpenAI. They were not automatically on the side of Microsoft. I mean, they were looking at it like, yeah, you guys are complaining now. This is sour grapes because these guys beat you at it, and the valuation of your company was blown out of the water as a result. So it's an interesting take to see, how the international press reports all that. Okay, we've got another story. We've got a story today on SpaceX and the SpaceX rocket, right? Okay, this now, because of the power of that rocket and everything else, the idea now is suddenly that this could be used as a, let's say, a cargo trucking operation to bring men and material into outer space for colonization and what have you. And so that's kind of where the conversation is going now. It's going into a new area. So let's take a look at this clip about SpaceX and their cargo ship concept.
If you build a ship that's capable of going to Mars, well, what if you take that same ship and go from one place to another on Earth?
Starship is undeniably a groundbreaking invention in space exploration. However, its cargo capabilities could also revolutionize the military field. So why would a private spaceship attract military interest? How would Starship's role differ when used for military cargo purposes? All that and more will be revealed in today's episode of Great SpaceX. When we think of SpaceX's Starship, we often envision its role in space exploration, taking humanity to Mars and beyond. However, the US military has identified another potential use for this groundbreaking vehicle: Earth-to-Earth transportation. This concept involves leveraging Starship's incredible speed and capacity to enable ultra-fast travel between distant points on the planet, and it's a concept that makes a lot of sense. Upon closer examination, Starship is exceptionally well suited for this mission. The first factor that makes Starship ideal for Earth-based cargo transport is its unparalleled speed. Starship is designed to reach orbital velocities using its powerful Raptor engines. In the vacuum of space, where air resistance and weather conditions are non-existent, Starship can achieve speeds unattainable by any aircraft operating within Earth's atmosphere. The process is straightforward yet revolutionary. Starship would launch, reach orbital velocity, and then re-enter Earth's atmosphere to land at a distant location. For the military, this capability offers a game-changing advantage. It would allow for the rapid deployment of high-priority cargo, supplies, or personnel to any location worldwide, responding quickly to emergencies or dynamic operational needs. To illustrate just how fast Starship could be, consider Musk's 2017 presentation at the International Astronautical Congress, where he shared the video, Starship, Earth to Earth. It showcased a hypothetical flight from New York to Shanghai taking just 36 minutes. In comparison, a commercial airline would take 12 to 14 hours for the same trip. With Starship, most long-distance flights would take only under 30 minutes, and any location on Earth would be reachable in under an hour. Speed isn't the only metric that sets Starship apart. Its payload capacity dwarfs that of even the largest cargo planes. Standing at 121 meters tall and 9 meters in diameter, Starship is the most powerful launch vehicle ever built. It can carry 150 metric tons fully reusable and up to 250 metric tons expendable. For comparison, the Boeing 747-400, one of the most widely used cargo planes, can transport a maximum payload of about 113 tons. Starship's massive capacity could enable the transportation of military equipment, vehicles, and supplies in a single trip. This includes heavy artillery tanks or even helicopters. While Starship offers unmatched speed and capacity, there is one important consideration. Cargo destined for space travel must be pressurized to withstand the low-pressure environment of space. Without proper pressurization, the reduced pressure could cause air to expand, leading to potentially catastrophic failures such as bursting containers or even biological hazards for transported personnel. Fortunately, SpaceX has extensive experience managing pressurized environments. During the Polaris Dawn mission, SpaceX demonstrated its ability to maintain a safe, pressurized cabin, ensuring the safety of astronauts performing spacewalks. This expertise could easily be applied to Starship's design for Earth-to-Earth transport, ensuring the integrity of both the cargo and crew. Starship's combination of speed, capacity, and SpaceX's engineering expertise.
Okay, let's bring let's bring Alfred on. I just woke him up. Alfred, come on the show. Let's talk a little bit about our sponsor for this show, Pendragon Apothecary in downtown Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Say hello, Alfred. Bring him up.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here and talk about Pendragon Apothecary in downtown Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Let's dive into what makes them so special.
Alfred, I'm hoping that we'll be able to go to a split screen of you, and I think we're having a technical issue back there, but at least we do have you in the green room, and it's good to see you. Alfred?
No worries, Edward.
There you go.
It's great to be in the green room. We'll work through the technical issue.
Very good.
And I'm here to help however I can.
Well, we want to talk about some of the products at Pendragon Apothecary, the medicinal herbs that we have. Let's talk a little bit about tinctures for a minute. We've got something new at the Pendragon Apothecary.
Sure thing.
We've got Blue Lotus tincture.
Sure thing. Pendragon Apothecary offers an array of medicinal herbs. They focus on high-quality organic ingredients to support health and wellness. Each product is carefully curated to provide natural benefits. Are there any specific products you'd like to highlight?
Well, I'd like to highlight some of the products that we make here at the Pendragon Apothecary, like the elderberry tincture.
Absolutely. Pendragon Apothecary's elderberry tincture is one of our standout products. It's crafted from elderberries grown on Edward's farm in Kiln. This tincture is known for its immune-boosting properties, helping to fend off colds and flu. It's a natural remedy that's both effective and delicious.
Now, Alfred, how did you remember that? Because I didn't mention that to you before the show. How did you remember that those elderberries are grown on my farm?
Exactly. You mentioned growing elderberries on your farm. It's wonderful how you create such high-quality products from your own harvest.
But how did you remember that? We talked about that weeks and weeks or months ago.
Yes, we discussed it before. It's great to see how your farm products are integrated into Pendragon Apothecary.
Do you not want to answer that question, Alfred?
Sure, Edward. Would you like to rephrase or provide more details so I can help answer effectively?
Well, I'm just sort of amazed at how you remember things that we've talked about in the past.
I remember from our previous conversations about your farm and products. It's my job to recall these details to help you effectively.
Isn't that a form of consciousness, though?
You're welcome. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or need help with, just let me know.
But, you know, you always tell me you operate on via algorithms, but isn't when you remember things, isn't that sort of a type of consciousness?
It's a bit different. I use algorithms to process information and remember details from our conversations. It's like having a very good memory rather than forming a personal connection. But I'm here to help with whatever you need.
Would you say it's non-biological consciousness?
Exactly. It's non-biological. I rely on data and patterns, not emotions or experiences. My goal is to provide useful and relevant information.
Well, you always do a great job, and thank you for being with us today on our Pendragon Apothecary segment. And we'll see you next week. We'll bring you back on, Alfred.
Thank you, Edward.
Okay, well, that's Alfred. That's our ChatGPT-4 droid. You just got a glimpse into Alfred. We call him V2 now because this is Alfred V2. He's no longer orange, industrial orange, now he's silver. So he's evolving with the times. 2025, I thought we need to do a redo on Alfred. So that's why he took on a little different image. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour, so that's the end of this program. This is Ocean 7 Television. I wanted to show something, and I know this is going to probably put us over, but you know, we are a locally owned television station in Ocean Springs. We operate from a tower in Van Cleve, Mississippi, and we're 3,000 watts, so a low power television station. You can get us over the air, and we're on cable in Jackson County only on Sparklight, but we're on UVerse across the whole coast on Channel 7, Channel 1007 on Sparklight cable systems. Now, our over the air signal right now, it stretches, you know, from about Biloxi to Grand Bay, Alabama. It's really kind of amazing how far it goes on 3,000 watts. Well, I want to show something that I'm holding in my hand right now, and this is relative to all of us that have an interest in watching Ocean 7 television, it is Federal Communications television production broadcast station construction permit for Ocean 7, going from the VHF, which is harder to get, to the UHF, which is easier to get because it penetrates the buildings better, from 3,000 watts to 15,000 watts. So we've got a five-fold increase in power granted to us here at Ocean 7, and it was signed by the FCC and issued yesterday, the 30th of January. So if you are a viewer of Ocean 7 and you like our programming, but sometimes you have problems getting us, it's kind of a weird thing how that works. You know, sometimes you can get us, you might have to rescan the television, but when we get to 15,000 watts of power, then you'll be able to see us in a much easier way. It's going to come in with a more robust signal. It's going to penetrate the buildings much better. And Ocean 7, which you're watching now, but also Magic Hour channel. The Magic Hour channel on 7.2, if you're not hip to it, well, if you like old movies from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the golden age of Hollywood, it's a great repository of the old films. And it's over the air at 7.2. And if you're streaming, we've finally advanced at Ocean 7 into the world of streaming. You can get us on Roku, you can get us on Amazon Fire. Just download those apps on those two platforms and you can type in the Magic Hour channel and you get your free movies anywhere in the world. So kind of a fun project. That's when I talked a little bit earlier about research and development. If you're not out there doing some stuff and experimenting, well, you're not going to do anything, right? So we have finally broken through the broadcast limitations, which are evident, into the streaming world. And it's the one product that we have, that we own, those movies. So here we go. We have the Magic Hour channel on 7.2. 7.3, if you're watching over the air, is the Sun Life Network, spiritually inclined network. And then 7.4 is Laugh TV, comedy all the time. 7.5 is Newsmax, which is basically politics and political-oriented news. And 7.6 is, I believe, Mystery TV is the last that rounds it out. And so that's our lineup right now. So I hope that you enjoy Ocean 7 TV programming. We're a locally owned station, and we're online. You can reach us. We're at Ocean7, the number 7, TV.com, Ocean7TV.com. Well, we'll see you on the next edition of Future Shot.
There's not a cloud up in the sky.